Hi, this will be a presentation on Scoutbook for unit leaders. Scoutbook is one of a set of apps that write advancement information and other information into the National Scoutbook database. There are a couple of tools out there that write to the Scoutbook database. One is Scoutbook, and another one is Internet Advancement. You have a choice. You can use one, either, or both of these tools to write your information and your unit's information into the national database. The reason why we have two tools is historical. The Internet Advancement tool will slowly grow and take on all the capabilities of Scoutbook. When it does, Scoutbook will be retired because it is built upon an older uh, programming code. This will take a few years, and until then, what happens will be that Internet Advancement will gain functionality at the same time that Scoutbook retains that functionality, and then after a while, Scoutbook will retire that functionality, and when you click on something in Scoutbook, it'll redirect you to Internet Advancement. When Internet Advancement does everything that Scoutbook does, at that point, Scoutbook will be retired. And again, it'll take a few years. Something to think about, and only Scout leaders can approve sign-off advancements. That's part of BSA policy. So parents who are not leaders and Scouts can mark advancements as complete, but not approve them. And we, in both of the interfaces, Internet Advancement and Scoutbook, this policy is incorporated. To log into Scoutbook, click on the Login button in the upper right corner of the screen. You use your myscouting.org login. That's the same login that you use to take training. So if you've taken training or if you've registered using the online system, you have a MyScouting account. Use that one to log into Scoutbook. If for some reason you have forgotten your password or your username, click on Forgot Password / Username, and the system will lead you through a series of prompts to discover your items and recover them. Once you've logged on to Scoutbook, you will go to the dashboard. Your dashboard is your hub where you'll be returning to do work and launching from there to do other types of work in Scoutbook. It depends on your position in Scouting as to what you see on your dashboard. Under the My Family tab, you will see any of your Scouts that you are connected to and identified as a parent of. On the right, you'll see units, and this is especially true if you are a unit leader or a Scoutbook admin. You will see your unit there, and you can then click on your unit and manage your unit from there. On the top of your dashboard, there's a line that says Administration. If you click on that, it will open and close these menus of items that are below here. It's kind of like an accordion menu that opens and closes. So if you don't see anything, click on Administration and it'll open up your menu. If you want to edit your personal information, click on My Account and then click on Edit Profile. From there, you can change your contact information. You can upload a picture of yourself if you want. You can also change your password from that screen. When you click on my information, there is a number of items that are in your menu, and one of them is edit profile, and that's where you change your personal information, and that's circled here on this slide. These are other things that you can change. We won't go through that in this presentation. This is what your um, profile looks like. When you click on edit profile, you can change your all kinds of things. You can change your name if for some reason you go through a name change, or like in my case, we used a suffix and then changed it. You can change your contact information, and then further along in the screen, you can change your email address. If you update your email address, you can make one email address primary. You can put in your phone number. You can say, well, I usually use a cell phone, and you make the primary phone number your cell phone. You can also enable messaging, text messaging to your phone. So if you want text messages being sent from Scoutbook to your phone, you can click on the box there that will allow you to accept text messages. It also lists a place where you can put things like your OA membership, when you went through ordeal and the Brotherhood and things like that. And there's some options towards the bottom of other information that you can put in your profile. Go back to the dashboard. Remember, this is kind of where you go always to kind of launch to go to different things. If you click on the unit, it will open up the unit for you. And most units will look like this, whether or not they're a troop or a pack. Up on the top, it'll have your number, your unit number, and then if it's a pack, it'll show dens, and I'll show you how to set one of those up. And if it's a troop, it'll show patrols. Now, if you don't have a den and you want to set up a den, towards the right, it says click here to add a den. You see where it says add den? Well, there's also the ability to add a patrol if you're in a troop. So you would use that. When you click on one of the den names that you have set up, it will allow you to add leaders to the den by clicking on the Add Leader button. When you click on the Add Leader button, it'll show all of the registered leaders in your pack, and you can select somebody to be the den leader to this den. And it'll automatically give them rights when you set up the den leader, so that they can add advancements, approve advancements and awards and things like that. You can also bring scouts into your den, or remove them. Now to do that, you would select the button that says reassign scouts. Though what we want you to do is wait until the scout is registered in the system. So they've done their application, the application's been submitted, and then they've been within 24 hours one of the application being approved for a scout, they will show up here in this list, in your Scoutbook list of scouts. And we want you to wait for that. We don't want you to input a scout by hand, because if you make a difference, it may be a mistake or maybe it's a different kind of name, like you put in Bill Nelson, but they're registered under William Nelson, then Scoutbook will make a duplicate record, because Scoutbook doesn't know the difference between Bill Nelson and William Nelson, assumes it's two different people, so it will put in a second record for that person. And then you have to delete that, and that's kind of a hassle. So what we would like you to do is wait, and then when the scout is registered, click 24 hours after the acceptance of the registration, click on Reassign Scouts, this button here that says Reassign Scouts. When you click on that button, it will show all of the scouts that are registered in your pack or troop. And then you would click on that name, uh, and that will bring them into, and then reassign them, and that will bring them into your den. And you do that for all of the scouts. Make sure they're in a den. If you're in a troop, put them in a patrol. It's really important in the dens and in the packs that you put the scout in the correct den. If they're working on Weeblos awards, Weeblos rank, you need to put them in the Weeblo den. If they're working on Arrow of Light, you also need to put them into a Weeblo den. If they're working on Bear, you need to put them on the Bear den, Wolf, the Wolf den, etc. That because Scoutbook understands what screens to give you for advancement based upon the type of den that they are in. Because it says, oh, they're working wolf, they're in a wolf den, I will give you the wolf stuff to approve. If for some reason you'd want to advance a den or change a den's name, you can click on Edit Den. So you're in the den here in this screen. So if you click on Edit Den, you can change the den's number, change the den's name. You can say, well, they're no longer a bear, but they're a Weeblos den. So you can click on that and we'll call it advance the den to the next rank. Now, when you do that, um, work uh, from the top down. Work on the Weeblo bears are going to be advanced to Weeblos, and then work on wolves to be advanced to bears, and just work from the top down. If you do that, you don't get confused and forget how to do the promotion. What goes next? We found that works best. There is a guide for that. The link to the guide is on the screen here. From this screen, a den leader can send a message to the den. Whenever they send a message to a scout, it will automatically be sent to the parent. If the parent has invited a scout to participate in Scoutbook and given a separate email address for that scout, then the message will go to the scout and the parent. The parent is always copied on messages. If a parent is not there, then the unit leaders will get the message and the scout won't get the message. So um, we'll talk about inviting scouts in a little bit. How you can invite a scout to participate. You have to be like 13 years of age to participate. So this is not really a Cub Scout thing. It's more of a Boy Scout thing or Scouts BSA thing. There is an option here to do quick entry. You can do quick entry at the pack level, and you can do quick entry of it. This is of advancements at the den level. So if you wanted to give all the kids in the den let's say they did one of the adventures, and you wanted to give them credit for the adventures, you could click on quick entry and then enter the adventure for them on quick entry. It's also as true with requirements. Scoutbook allows you to record requirements. Internet Advancement does not allow you to do that yet. But if you wanted to record like one, two, or three advancement requirements for the adventure, you could do that because requirements are supported in Scoutbook. There are a list of reports that you can get, advancement report type things that a den leader can get from this screen, or a unit advancement chair or advancement person can get from this screen, or a Key 3 member. You can print the roster of the den from that screen as well. How to assign a parent. There is a button on the screen here that is underneath the Scout's name. If you click on the Scout's name, you're going to get this screen, and it'll tell you the Scout, the rank, and there's also something that says Add Parents. You can, if the parent isn't automatically put in, and lately the parents are been automatically put in, if the council knows that there is a parent and who that parent is, the council during the registration process assigns the parent to the Scout, and you'll see the parent's name here. If the parent isn't here, then you can click on that red thing that says Add Parent, and you can add a parent and invite a parent to participate that way. If the parent, when you click on that, if the parent is part of the unit, the name will show up. These are all the registered adult leaders in the unit. If they aren't there, you click on the add, and then you get a form where you can type it in. There is a guide that's here on the screen. If you go to that guide, it tells you how a parent can invite a Scout. Basically, they click on the Scout's name, they click on Edit Extended Information. There's a place there to invite the Scout if they don't already have an email in the system. And it's where the parent can put the Scout's name and the email address and click on Invite Scout. The Scout gets an email that they then click on a link to log in for the first time, and then they can access Scoutbook like a parent can access Scoutbook. And we'll talk a little bit more about what kind of rights a parent has and what kind of rights a Scout has a little bit. There is a Scoutbook tutorial for parents that talks about this, and this is the link to the tutorial. Okay, we're back from the dashboard. We've clicked on the unit, but we haven't clicked on a den. So uh, once you click on the unit, you get the unit page. And in this case, it's a pack. So it shows different things for a pack. You can see everybody that's registered in the pack or troop or crew or ship by clicking on the unit roster. If you click on that, it shows all the adults and all the Scouts. And you can click on their names to do things as well, just like you would in a den or a patrol. You can send messages to everybody in the unit um, or just certain people in the unit. Again, you will not see the Scouts unless the Scouts have been invited by their parent to uh, receive mail and participate in the Scoutbook. If they haven't, you will always see the parents' names if the parents are there, and you can send messages to the parents. There's a quick entry at the pack level and the troop level where you can record advancements at that level. So if you're like a pack administrator, advancement chair, something like that for your unit, you can just use this quick entry at this level and credit who needs to be credited for things. There's a report for pack reports, and there's a way of backing up to an Excel file, a CSV file. Some people like to do that just so that they have a backup. There's a way of editing the pack information. If you are a Scoutbook admin for your pack and want to change some of the contact information for your pack, this is only local to Scoutbook. It doesn't affect your PIN in My Scouting or Find a Scout or Be a Scout or any of that stuff. This is just local pack information. About the only thing that's really valuable here is maybe changing the zip code where your pack is. And so if there's any sort of pack lookup, time zone, because there is a calendar in Scoutbook, and it does send out reminders based on your time zone. So making sure that the pack time zone is in there correctly. There's a payment log. Payment logs in Scoutbook are simple income and expense logs. It says Scout such and such owes the pack $200 for summer camp, and Scout the Scout maybe paid $50, so now he's got $150 balance, and so it's a simple balance sheet for as a payment log. It's not QuickBooks. It's not meant to be a real accounting thing, but it's a way of keeping track, quick and easy track of expenses. It also has a way of interfacing with PayPal. So if you wanted to use PayPal uh, for them to pay for expenses, it does work with that. And then if you want to see a list of NOVA counselors and Supernova mentors, you can click on that and it shows you the council approved uh, NOVA counselors and Supernova mentors. There's also something like this if you're a Scouts BSA troop. You'll see a line there that says merit badge counselor list. Same idea if you want to try to find a merit badge counselor. Now, NOVA counselors and merit badge counselor lists are only shown to the leaders. You have to be a registered leader of the unit to see those options. Parents don't see them and Scouts don't see them. And the reason why is because the BSA policy is for the Scouts to go to their unit leader to find these people out. And there's supposed to be kind of a chat with the unit leader to make sure that the unit leader knows the Scouts working on this sort of thing. And and so that's why uh, the parents and the Scouts don't see those menus items. And then there's a thing about your council at the very bottom. Maybe it shows the council scout shop hours and things like that. When you click on the unit roster, this is what you see. You see all the names, and you see the uh, ranks of the scouts. This is the current ranks that they are, and on the parent side or leader side, you see what leadership positions that Scoutbook recognizes them as being in. So it shows all of them in your unit. If you click on a leader's name, you can change the functional role that they're in. You can assign somebody as a den leader to a specific den or a assistant scoutmaster to a specific patrol, things like that. That is if you're a unit admin. Everybody can't do that, but unit admins can, and unit key 3 people can. Um, if you click on a scout's name, you can work on the uh, information in that scout's record. So things like you can grant advancements and stuff like that if you're a unit leader. Adult positions coming into your unit, please don't add adults. Please wait for the adults to be registered and come in automatically. We run into a lot of issues where people have added adult leaders ahead of time, and then there's something a little bit different with the name or the address or the email, and when they come in, it's a duplicate record. Now we've got 2 records for the adult, and it just becomes a hassle. So please wait for them to come into the unit. That's true for scouts too, as I mentioned earlier. If you click on a scout, as I mentioned before, you will see their record where they are. For example, this scout is a bear scout. He is in uh, a unit, in this case, unit 0 and pack 0, and he's in a wolf den called Test. I shouldn't use the word test because that gets redundant, but that's what it is. And he's a bear rank. Um, and the name is actually up on top here. This name says test 1, so could say Bill Nelson on it. These are the advancement ranks that the scout has earned up to this point. So this shows what they've earned for ranks, and this shows what they've earned for adventures. If it was a troop, you would see the ranks and you would see the merit badges. And then you would see awards, whatever awards that the scout has earned at this point. There's some menu items on the bottom here that you can look at, or you can use. There's an edit profile where you can edit the profile of the scout, the contact information. Again, that's for the unit leaders. Unit leaders would be able to do this. Also, parents can edit the profile of their scout. Um, School grade, scout, BSA, join dates. Most of those are now in the edit profile section, so you can actually use edit profile to do those. In extended information, you can invite your son or daughter to the unit. The membership uh, uh, menu allows you to assign a den or patrol to the scout. The transfer tool is better than trying to assign memberships to individual scouts. Just using what I showed you before with the reassign button, do that. It's easier, it's less error prone. And then you can use this if you want to edit their payment log. If you're an admin or like treasurer to your unit. This is what the payment log looks like. Here's a link to a user guide for the payment log. Again, it's a simple, Johnny Scout owes a certain amount of money. He's paid a certain amount of money, and this is the balance that they have. And you can edit it if you're a unit admin. Connections allows you to assign a connection of some other adult leader to your scout. That's open for admins to use, and for the unit key 3 leaders can use that. You can't just add connections, like if you're not one of those people. The advancement is the one that you probably will use the most. That allows you to make advancement changes. Now, who can make what kind of changes? This is kind of where I can start talking about that. You see these green check marks. Parents and scouts can click on an item in advancement and they can put in a date and say that they completed it and save it. When they do that, they get a green check mark like this. That doesn't mean anybody has signed off on that advancement. That just means that somebody somewhere thinks that they have finished that advancement. It is not marked as approved. To mark it approved, you have to be able to um, be a leader. So once you're a leader, and you click on these, whether or not it's green or not, you click on the item, you have the ability to put in a date and check a checkbox that says leader approved. Now that checkbox only appears to unit leaders like den leaders or scoutmasters or key 3 members or the Scoutbook admin for the account. They can go in there and they can mark something leader approved. That means it's signed off. And in scouting, once done is done. So that's a very important thing. It's signed off. It gets recorded in the database as leader approved. It's a done deal. They actually have the badge. And that's for the ability by just clicking on these different things and then putting a date and clicking on leader approved. So here's an example. This is Wolf requirement 3. So they went through the menus, got down to Wolf requirement 3, clicked on it, and it gives them a place to put a date. So you can put the date that the scout completed it. If you're a leader, you then also get this menu item here, this checkbox that allows you to leader approve it. If you're not a key 3 leader or those leaders I mentioned before, you don't even see this. Parents won't see this, scouts won't see this, and they can't approve it as leader approved. They can't say that the scout's been signed off. But they can put a date in there and get that green check mark. Once the date is in there and you got the green check mark, and you're a leader, you click the leader approved, and then you save it, and then that gives you the blue check mark. You can also put in notes for particular requirements, saying something like, well, Johnny still needs to do this and this to finish this requirement. That's optional. It's just a place to put notes. You can also upload pictures. This is what I want to see. You put a picture in. There's same idea for awards. So the awards menu allows you to enter awards. And youth leadership is a place to put the leadership history of the scout. Um, and activity logs allows you to enter activity logs into the system. Activities, they went on a camp out, they went on a hike, service project, whatever. And then there's a report menu for the individual scout. So you can get a BSA history report for the scout from almost any menu. From the unit, you can get it for any scout in the unit. At this level, you can get it for this particular scout. Doesn't matter which one you use, depending on your function in the troop and what menu you're in. Um, these are just an example of some of the individual reports that are out there. There's an advancement record, which is a nice little summary of where the scout is. There's the Cub Scout history report that gives all of the different advancements that the scout has done and the awards and whatever service logs are in there for the scout as a Cub Scout. There's a Scout BSA history report for their troop activity. The nice thing is that if you're in a troop and you have a scout and the parent wants to see the Cub Scout history, you can click on Cub Scout history report for that scout and print that out for the parent. So they have not only their current history, but they also have the history way back when they were a Cub Scout. There's the incomplete merit badge report. So for troop leaders, this will tell them what merit badges still have to be finished by their scouts. There's a venturer history report. If they're in a venturing crew, Sea Scout history. If they're in a Sea Scout troop, Sea Scout ship. If they're a Life Scout and they're ready to go for Eagle and they want to print an application, if they click the Eagle application item here, they will actually get an Eagle application that is filled in with everything that Scoutbook knows about them. So they don't have to type in all the 21 merit badges and all that kind of stuff. And if you want an individual payment log report, like you're a parent, you want to find out, well, what do we owe? You can click on that. And if your troop or pack uses that system, it'll tell you. Now, going back to the pack unit page or the troop unit page, you're going to see you're seeing the menus here again and what quick entries are available. Well, for the pack, you can enter the rank requirement, you can enter awards, you can enter activities, you can enter payment logs as a group. So you're at the pack level, you can click on those and do a group entry. If you have 5 or 6 scouts that all did the same thing, you can enter those at one time. Troop, the same idea for ranks and awards and merit badges. This is what a quick entry screen kind of looks like. In this case, it's the wolf rank. It has all of the ranks to the right here, and then it has a place to put in the date. And if you're a leader, it shows the leader approved box, so you can click on that. And then you can click on all the different scouts that are eligible to have completed this, and then that they had completed that particular requirement. Awards, same idea. You click on the quick entry, then awards. It'll give you a list of all the awards that are available. You click on the award you're after. It'll give you the requirements for that award. Click on the requirements and the scouts and say save, and it'll record for those. Going back to the dashboard, remember you could send messages through the dashboard. Um, you also have the ability to, from the dashboard, you can create events and put them on a calendar. You click on the event button in the dashboard. There is a place there that you can then create a new event. Uh, and when you do that, it will set up a event for you, gives you a screen to set up an event and put it on the unit calendar. When you're setting up an event, they will want you to select a calendar. The calendars that are available to you will be the unit calendar and also any subunits you have. Every subunit can have their own calendar, or you can just manage one unit calendar. It's kind of up to you. When you click on Create Event, this is the screen that you get. It gives you a place to choose which calendar you want to use, and then the type of event. Based on the type of event, it may populate the invitees automatically for you, like a pack meeting would bring in everybody. Um, you can edit that list, but it will allow you to do that. You can put in the name of the event, the location. You don't have to put in the location map if you don't want to. You can put a name of an external guest and an email address for them so they get invited too. You put in the dates of when it starts and ends and the type of activity it is. Uh, you can select invitees if you, again, it'll populate the invitees automatically. If you want to add different ones, you can, there's a button here that allows you to edit that list. There are permission slips that are in the system. If you click on the question mark, it tells you what those permission slips look like. If you toggle this toggle, it will send out the permission slips at the same time that the invitation is sent out or the reminder is sent out. Um, and they have to mail those permission slips back to you. The system doesn't automatically record permission slips. These are the reports that are available on the unit page. So notice that the reports are a little different than on the individual page, a little bit more of them. At the very bottom here is an audit log report. We get questions every now and then about what happens if somebody like a leader has approved something, and now all of a sudden we see something's approved, but we didn't know it was going to be approved, and now it's approved. Who did it? Well, the name should be in the record when you open up the Scouts record. It should say right underneath the approve button who did approve it. But if you want to know who did it and when they did it, you can print this audit log report. It gives you an Excel spreadsheet of all the transactions that occurred in Scoutbook. There are report builder functions. These are allows you to make an ad hoc report, what they call an ad hoc report. It's just if you don't see a canned report that you like, you can create your own report and use the report builder function to do that. Uh, when you click on report builder manager, you get this screen here, and it allows you to see any new, old reports that people have kind of built, or you create a new report. And then if you select create new report, you get a screen like this where you basically select the kind of report, the kind of things you want to include in the report, and then you can give it a name here and save it, and that will allow you to save that report for use later on if you want to do the same kind of report over and over again. It's this report builder function is for kind of advancement reports. So if you want to make some kind of advancement report, if you click the green run button, it actually produces the report. There are also roster reports that are available if you want something about things that are in the roster. You know, who's done YPT, who hasn't done YPT, who's done this or that. Um, that those kind of reports come out of Roster Builder. This is what the Roster Builder looks like. Same idea as the other one, only this is for information for individuals rather than advancements. There is a needs approval report. Now, this is kind of one of the important reports for advancement management. So, uh, people say that they're done with something, right? The green check mark thing. So, if you've got people out there doing that, that are marking things as completed, and you're a unit leader and you want to know, well, what things people think are done and I haven't approved yet, you can click on the needs approval report and it gives you a report on everything that's been marked completed. This is an example of a needs approval report. It tells you the scout's name and then underneath their name what it is that people have marked completed. You can approve everything. You can click on individuals to approve individual things. There is a button here to just approve everything. Be careful with that because once you approve, it's signing off and what's done is done. So be careful what you click on. You can click on the individual, kind of drill in and find out, yeah, this is what I want. They definitely need to be signed off on this. And what it does is in Scoutbook, when you process this, one way or another, it will then mark that advancement as approved, which means signed off, and then are now signed off by the unit, by the Scoutmaster, and they can, um, you know, they can proceed, right? So once done is done. They've got it. Uh, and we can buy it at the Scout Shop. So how do we buy it at the Scout Shop? We have another report for that. That report is called the Needs Repurchasing Report. So this is the report that the advancement chair would run before they go to the Scout Shop. So everything that's been approved by the unit leadership is marked as approved, and now we need to purchase the stuff. So we click on needs purchasing, and what you'll get is a report that looks something like this, and it will identify all the items that have been marked as approved. So you'll get everything that's been marked approved on the list here. At that point, you can select all of them, or with this button here, or you can select individuals. Usually you select all, but you could select individual ones. If you don't have what's known as a PO created for your unit or that's still open, it'll say down here in this red line, create PO. Otherwise, it'll say add to an already existing PO that you haven't closed yet. A PO is your shopping list. A PO is what you're going to use to go to the Scout Shop and buy the stuff. So once you've bought it, you want to make sure you go back into this and close the PO. But at this point, you're just adding to the PO. You're taking all of the approved items and you're putting them in a PO. What's a PO? Okay, so once you've added it to the PO or created a PO, you're going to get this screen here, and it's going to say that these are the items that you've listed, and they are in this PO, and you're ready to go shopping. It's going to give you basically a shopping list, and it'll give you an estimated cost of the items. You can print your shopping list here, but what the Scout Shop also wants to see is towards the bottom of the screen, it says advancement report. That's what they want to see. You press that report, and it'll print out all of the items, the restricted items that are on your shopping list, like the badges and the advanced adventures, the ranks, the merit badges, all those sort of things, the awards, and they need that report to prove that you put it in the system. The PO originally that you had, your shopping list is going to also include any other item that's not a restricted item. So you kind of want that as well, just to make sure you have everything. You can from this screen print if you get a sheet from the Scout Shop of rank cards or merit badge cards, you can actually get a sheet that goes in your printer. This down here will take anything that's in your PO that is like a merit badge, and it will print. It'll fill out those forms that you can get from the Scout Shop. So if you want to do it that way rather than handwrite them, you can play around with this and use this system. Now we're back to the to the menu here, and so we printed our thing out and we went to the Scout Shop. So what do we need to do? You get all the badges back, and you hand all the badges out at a pack meeting or at a court of honor or at the troop meeting or wherever you're handing out the stuff. Now what's important is you need to close it out in Scoutbook. Hey, we've done it. We've the scouts earned it. They've been approved, and then we purchased it with a purchase order, and we went to the Scout Shop and bought it. Now what we need to do is mark it as awarded. We gave the badge to the scout, so we're going to close it out. To do that, you run this needs awarding report, and it gives you a list of all of the advancements that are marked as approved in Scoutbook, but not marked as awarded in Scoutbook. So these are the things that are still outstanding, waiting that you went to the Scout Shop and gave the award to the scout. Well, once you have done that, you now go into this report and you mark all of the ones that you have handed out to the scout as awarded. So you would click on this report, and then you would click the ones that you have handed back to the scout. If it's everything, you can click on select all again. And then you can there's a red button at the bottom where you can commit to it, and then it marks all of these as awarded in Scoutbook. When it is marked awarded, that means it gives a gold check mark, and it won't show up in the purchase orders and that sort of stuff. Also, make sure that check your needs purchasing report. Make sure that purchase order is now closed. If it's not, close the purchase order, so you don't just keep adding on to this big long shopping list. So these are more items that you can get off of the unit page. If you are a leader, you're going to see a lot of different things you can have other than those reports. There, you can get a payment log report coming out of Scoutbook for your unit. You can get an activity log report, which will give you all of the activities that the units worked on. You can get an attendance report. There's ways of taking attendance in your events, and so you can do that. You can get an audit log report. Again, we talked about that. A YPT status report for your leaders, trained leader status kind of stuff. Trained leader status is that they went through basic training, leader basic training. From your dashboard, that was in the unit menu. So if we go up a level, we're back at the dashboard. These are the reports that are available depending on your position from the dashboard. So there's some additional reports that are available here. Merit badge counselors have a different experience in Scoutbook than unit leaders do, because what they're doing is they're crediting individual scouts for merit badges and merit badge requirements. Uh, for a tutorial on that, here is a link in our knowledge base to the Merit Badge Counselor Guide, where they can get information and a tutorial of how to use Scoutbook as a Merit Badge Counselor. Scoutbook has something called the Feature Assistant extension. It is a Chrome extension and Firefox. It works with Chrome and Firefox browsers, and it adds features to Scoutbook that Scoutbook doesn't already have. So it's supported by a volunteer, and you can get support for it on the forums, and I'll show you a link to the forums for it. But it does add a lot of features. If you're really understand Scoutbook, you've used Scoutbook for a while, you would like to see more features, check this out because it does help you add things. Makes it a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more easy, um, but it is an add-on to Scoutbook. Once a year or more, you might have to transfer scouts from other units to your unit, Weeblo's Bridge to troops, that sort of thing. Uh, you can follow the directions on this slide on how to do that. It also talks about how you can transfer councils if you're moving to a different council and stuff like that. These are general helps for Scoutbook, and that knowledge base stuff that's help.scoutbook, middle line here. If you go here, you can basically do searches and find out all kinds of guides for all kinds of things. If you can't find it here and you're stuck, go to the forums. This is an interactive forum where there's a bunch of experts that can help you navigate all these technical tools, not just Scoutbook, but Internet Advancement, My Scouting, the BSA technical tools for unit leaders and for volunteers. These guys know their stuff.